Reading Srimad Bhagavatam 428-44. Chiravasa vrata chema Veni bhuta shiro ruha Abhavupa patim shanta Shikha shantam evanalam. Chiravasa, wearing old garments. Vritachema, lean and thin on account of austerities. Venibhuta, entangled. Shiroruha, her hair. Babhau, she's shorn. Upapatim, near the husband. Santa, peaceful. Shikha, flames. Santam, without being agitated. Eva, like. Analam, fire. Translation: the daughter of King Vidarbha wore old garments, and she was lean and thin because of her vows of austerity. Since she did not arrange her hair, it became entangled and twisted in locks. Although she remained always near her husband, she was silent and unagitated as the flame of undisturbed fire. Please respond. The daughter of King Vidarbha wore old garments and she was lean and thin because of vows of austerity. Since she did not arrange her hair, it became entangled and twisted in locks. Although she remained always near her husband, she was silent and unagitated as a flame of an undisturbed fire. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. When one begins to burn firewood, there is smoke and agitation. In the beginning, although there are so many disturbances, in the beginning, once the fire is completely set, the firewood burns steadily. Similarly, when both husband and wife follow the regulated principles of austerity, they remain silent and not agitated by sex impulses. Such a time, both husband and wife are benefited spiritually. One can attain this stage of life by completely giving up a luxurious mode of life. In this verse, the word Chiravasa refers to very old torn garments. The wife especially should remain austere, not desiring luxurious dresses and living standards. She should accept only the bare necessities of life and minimize her eating and sleeping. There should be no question of mating. Simply by engaging in the service of an exalted husband, who must be a pure devotee, the wife will never be agitated by sex impulses. The Vanaprastha stage is like this. Although the wife remains with the husband, she undergoes severe austerities and penances, so that although both husband and wife live together, there is no question of sex. In this way, both husband and wife can live together perpetually. Since the wife is weaker than the husband, this weakness is expressed in this word with the word upapatim. Upa means near to or almost equal to. Being a man, the husband is generally more advanced than his wife. Nonetheless, the wife is expected to give up all luxurious habits. Should not even dress nicely or comb her hair. Hair combing is one of the main business of the woman. And they say the house full of hair, they blame you, your hair, not their hair. Yeah? And the Vanaprastha stage, the wife should not take care of her hair, thus her hair will become entangled in knots. Consequently, the wife will no longer be attracted to the husband, and she herself will no longer be agitated by sex impulses. And this way both husband and wife can advance in spiritual consciousness. This advanced stage is called Paramahamsa stage, and once it is obtained, both husband and wife can be actually liberated from bodily consciousness. If the disciple remains steady in the service of the spiritual master, he no longer fears falling down into the clutches of Maya. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Gnanam Gna Shulakaya Chikshozan Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Satpitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Garamam Dudati Swakarandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajim Shadvitam Shavadutam Parajanam Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Param Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvidam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namo Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vancha Kalpadaro Vyascha Kripa Sindhuveva Cha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namaram Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desadarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So thank you very much in joining in our Bhagavatam class 428-44. So we are continue reading how the wife is acting. Because we heard or read that Malayadwaja, the husband, he attained perfection because he saw the Lord and he started taking instruction of the Lord. So now what happened to the wife? She just serving him only. Yes? Is it not? So this is the position of the disciple. See, the guru could be very advanced, but the disciple may be not so advanced. Yes? But because she is serving him and surrendered to him, she also gets the spiritual benefit. Like in this case, that the wife gets about 50% for all the credit of the spiritual credit of the husband. So it is not that they just serve and that's it. No. So there is arrangement by Krishna that they also benefit. So her position is that she faithfully serves. And the advancement she made by that austerity, whether she was able to conquer lust. See? And lust is a very difficult thing to conquer. Yes? Huh? त्रिविधम नरकेश्यदम द्वारम नाशनम आत्मनः काम क्रोधस तथा लोभस तस्मात् एतम त्रयम त्यजत. See, there are three gates leading to this hell. What are the three gates that leading to this hell? Jai Shri Radha. Lust, anger, and greed. So these are the three gates that leads to hell. In other words, if we want to uplift ourselves spiritually, then we must get rid of this thing. Lust is the most difficult thing to give up. Yes? It is not that when you grow old, you automatically you become immune to that. No. Yes? Chapter 9, 9th canto. What is that verse? 9, 19 is it? 16. So you see here, for those who are too attached to material enjoyment, sense gratification is very difficult to give up. Even when one is an invalid because of old age, one cannot give up such desires for sense gratification. See that? Even when one is an invalid because of old age, one cannot give up such desires for sense gratification. Therefore, one who actually desires happiness must give up such unsatisfied desires which are the cause of all tribulation. This is the point. Eh? We have actually seen, especially in Western countries, that men who have reached more than 80 years of age still go to nightclubs and pay heavy fees to drink wine and associate with women. Although such men are too old to enjoy anything, their desires have not ceased. Time deteriorates even the body itself, which is the medium of all sensual satisfaction. But even when a man becomes old and invalid, his desires are strong enough to dictate that he go here and there to satisfy the desires of his senses. And therefore, by the practice of Bhakti Yoga, one should give up his lusty desires as explained by Sri Yamunajacharya. Yad avadi yadavadi mama seta Krishna padaravinde navanavara dhami udyam tam rantum asid tadavadi bhatta nari sangame smarayamane bhavati mukha vikhara sustu nistivanam cha. When one is Krishna conscious, he gets more and more happiness by discharging duties for Krishna. Such a person spits on this sense gratification, especially that of sexual enjoyment. An experienced advanced devotee is no longer interested in sex life. The strong desire for sex can be subdued only by advancement in Krishna consciousness. Only by Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, how does this lust come? Can anyone tell me? Don't, the experienced one don't, the others can try. Let's see. Who can try this? How does this lust come? What about you, sir? You mean second time I'm seeing you here, right? Huh? Huh? Yeah, I said second time. Are you chanting? You are chanting? Oh, very good. How many rounds you chant? Only 2 or 3. Very good. You reading the books?
Yeah, actually I left it back in Penang.
Oh, you from Malaysia?
Yeah, from Malaysia.
Oh, the Malaysian. How old are you?
58.
Huh?
58.
You're 68?
58.
58? Oh, younger than me, huh? Oh, you got so much white hair. I'm sorry. I also have a lot of white hair anyway. So, what is how does this lust come about? Someone can help? Contaminating on the material objects. Very good. Very good. You know where the verse is? $337. Very good. What else? So the experienced one don't say, otherwise the others will never learn, What verse is that? What about the ladies? Anyone? No? No problem. They always say we women are less intelligent, so we don't need to know these things all. This is not our department. No problem. Yes. So you see how Krishna is saying here. While contemplating dhyayato vishayan pumsam sangateshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kama krodha vijayate. While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment lust develops, and from lust anger arises. So now why the women are wearing attractive clothes? Why? Why colorful? Why? Huh? Even there nowadays no clothes. A shortcut, no clothes. Yes? Yes. So you see, when the senses act with the sense object, lust develops. Now why this is coming about? Why? Can you think of why this happens?
Because of the mind.
Yeah?
Because of the mind.
Because of the mind. Yeah? So the devotee may have a mind but is not attracted. Why? This is the rule. If you act with the sense object, attraction develops. But the devotees, they also, but they are not getting implicated. Why? Huh? Got a higher taste. What is the higher taste? Prasadam. What's the higher taste? Prasadam. Come on. What is that? This is not the right answer. Huh? Kamesha Krodesha. Very good. What is Kamesha Krodesha? 337, right? So here, this verse, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Actually, before we go here, we'll go a little bit backwards so you know what we are talking about. Here, Arjuna is asking this question. You please remember this, huh? You must remember this, okay? Arjuna said, O descendant of Vrishni, by what is one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly as though engaged by force? You follow? You understand this point? You don't want to do this thing, but why you are forced to do it? Why? Very good. Good answer. There are three modes of material nature. What does the mode do? He's saying now something new. Mode of goodness, mode of passion and mode of ignorance. Do you know what is these three modes? Anyone knows? In short, the three modes means Maya. In short, the three modes means Maya. When we say Maya, it means the three things. Goodness, passion, ignorance. Right? You follow? So I said earlier that because the devotees, why they are not getting implicated? Why? And why others are getting implicated? Why? So here Krishna is saying, Krishna is answering this question, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Kamesha Krodesha Rajaguna Samudbhavaha Mahasano Mahapapma Vidyenam Eva Vairinam. Now, very interesting, Krishna is explaining in 4 lines. The blessed Lord said, it is lust, only Arjuna, which is born of contact with the mode of passion. Now he said, the senses act with the sense object, correct? So Krishna is saying the contact with the mode of passion. You understand? So when the senses act in contact with the mode of passion, he didn't say mode of goodness. He said mode of passion. And later transform into wrath, and which is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. Now, very interesting, Krishna is saying. In other words, this mode of passion is the one that is bringing about this lust. You understand? Mode of passion. And women, they are in the mode of passion. They have to be, otherwise how they produce children? Cannot produce, right? So you see how it is designed. They are in the mode of passion. You follow? And if the man is in the mode of passion, then immediately he is attracted to the side of a woman. Do you understand? Are you following? 11:8 what? 11:7.
11:8:7 and 11:8:8.
Okay, good. 11:8:7. So you see here, very interesting. One who has failed to control his senses immediately feels attraction upon seeing a woman's form. In other words, if you are in the mode of passion, then you will be attracted to the form of the woman. They are always attracted to the body of the man because they are in the mode of passion anyway. See the point? You understand? So lust coming out, which is created by the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. Indeed, when the woman speaks with interesting words, smiles courteously and moves her body sensuously, his mind is immediately captured, and thus he falls blindly into the darkness of material existence, just as the moth maddened by this fire rushes blindly into the flame. You see how this happens? You understanding? Huh? Right? And Gus goes on to explain the next verse. A foolish man with no discrimination is immediately arose at the sight of a woman beautifully decorated with golden ornaments, fine clothing and other accoutrements, being eager for sense gratification. Such a fool loses all intelligence and is destroyed, just like a moth rushing into the blazing fire. So this lust, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita just now, what he said? Is the enemy all what? What's the verse? Huh? He says the all devouring is the enemy, right? Transform into wrath, which is the all devouring sinful enemy of this whole world. It is not the women, it is not, no. They are instruments. You understand? Are you following? They are instruments. But you are the what? Culprit. Correct? Who is the culprit? Not the woman. They are there. You can't blame. It's only because of, no. You are the, as Krishna says, if you keep yourself in the mode of passion, then this will be the consequence. You understand? Are you following? If you keep yourself in the mode of passion, then you are going to get into, as Krishna said, trouble. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes.
So, then Krishna goes on to say, where is this found? He says here, his degrees of lust. Thus, a man's pure consciousness is covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. Another thing Krishna is saying here, you can have sex all the time, you cannot be tired of it. Just like eating. Finish eating, you want to eat again, correct? And then you have full, and then you wake up, no, I want to eat again, correct? So this is how it goes, never satisfied. Of course, in the 9th canto again, there's also another verse, attesting to this. So you try to understand that this lust, just like the example given, you fire, you keep pouring what? Ghee, it will keep burning and burning, you can never stop. You cannot. Some people bring this philosophy, the best way to finish lust is that you keep doing it until you're tired of it. There is no such philosophy, it cannot work. You understand? That's why Krishna says here, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. It is not some cooling thing, it is some real what? Yeah? So, what else Krishna says here? See? Now Krishna is giving another thing. The senses, the mind and the intelligence are the sitting place of this lust, which veils the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. The senses acting with the sense object, right? Yes, the mind gets implicated, right? Intelligence say yes, 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 and then it's all finished. So the senses, the mind and intelligence are the subtle body surrounding the spirit soul. You understand? So the soul is covered by this, and these are the lust. Lust is sitting there. It is sitting. You understand? Are you following? Then what happens? Therefore, O Arjuna, best of the Bharatas, in the very beginning curbed this great symbol of sin, lust, by regulating the senses and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. Now Krishna is telling another thing. So Arjuna, you curb this great symbol of sin, because lust is sin. You understand? Lust is what? Sin. Quit it. By regulating the senses. Krishna is saying what? By regulating the senses. How do we regulate the senses? And slay this destroyer of knowledge. Again, another thing Krishna is saying. If you go into this lusty platform, you cannot regulate your senses. One thing, because regulating the senses means you cannot regulate, correct? Then you will be finished with knowledge. Your knowledge will be covered. Destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. That means spiritually also you become bankrupt. You understand this? Yeah? Explain this a little bit more. We'll go here. I think this is the one. We'll check. Sorry, wrong verse. So here, in this verse, just as aquatic always desire to remain in the vast mass of water, all conditioned living entities naturally desire to remain the vast existence of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, if someone very great by material calculation fail to take shelter of the Supreme Soul, but instead become attached to material household life, his greatness is like that of a young low-class couple. One who is too attached to material life loses all good spiritual qualities. Sir? Huh? You follow? So if you go in this direction, you lose all your spiritual. That's what Krishna is saying. You lose your knowledge and your self-realization. You understand? And of course, just now we say, and this verse, you see, many verses. Here, you see, my dear Arjuna, one who does not follow in human cycle the cycle of sacrifices established by the Vedas certainly leads a life full of sin. Living only for satisfaction of senses, such a person lives in vain. In other words, when you engage in sense gratification, you are going to live in a sinful way. This is exactly what Krishna is saying. Because he says also here, you see what he is saying. Aneka chitta vibranta moha jala samamritaha prashakta kama bhogeshu patanti narakeyas chav. See, Krishna says, thus perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusion, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell. So it's all a correlating, you know what I mean? Not? It is not just who cares. It is all what? Yes? You understand? Looking at a woman, it goes. You follow. You don't check it, you're going to where? Where I'll go to hell, like Prabhupada said the joke, this man saying, you are drinking, you go to hell, Then my wife is also drinking, she also want to go to hell. Then my father is drinking, he is also going to hell. Wow, he started happy. Well, we all will be a happy family there, we all drinking. What's the problem? Come on, it is not such joke going to hell. Understand? After you finish your term, you got to start again from the lowest rung, correct? Climbing all like a cockroach and up, and it takes billions of years before you see again human birth. All because of what? Lust. Krishna said, lust is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. You understand? Today's success story, our success story is she and he both have transcended the lusty platform. That is a success. What is the success here? She became successful because she gave up sex life. Correct? He became successful because he gave up sex and he got Krishna. Right? You follow? So lust is difficult to curb. You follow? So Krishna is saying, curb this by regulation. What is this regulation? Because there is a famous verse that Prabhupada always quotes. Indriyani parani ahur indrabhiha param manaha manastu para buddhi yo buddhi paratastu saha. The working senses are superior to dull matter, mind is higher than the senses, intelligence is higher than the mind, and he, the soul, is even higher than intelligence. Why Krishna is speaking this verse? We are talking about lust now, correct? Why he just now go to this verse? Why? Any idea why? No idea. He is talking about lust all and suddenly he says this is higher, this is higher. What is higher for what? Krishna want to switch topic, boring, this lust is too much heavy, nobody will worship me. I just please. We'll quiet down this last topic. Is that a fact? Why you think Krishna is saying this now? Because Krishna is highlighting the point that you, as a spirit soul, you are higher than all these things. In other words, you can control the mind, the intelligence and the senses. Are you following? Because you are higher, you are not lower. You are lower, yeah, you finish, you cannot do nothing. But you are higher. You means what? Who are you? Spirit soul. Understand this point? Are you understanding? Huh? So, being higher, our next stage is thus knowing oneself to be transcendental to material senses, mind and intelligence, one should control the lower self by the higher self, and thus by spiritual strength conquer this insatiable enemy known as lust. In other words, you can only do this on the spiritual level. Period. You cannot control this lust by any material means. It's not possible. That's why Krishna is saying, you should control the lower self. Which is the lower self? Mind, intelligence and ego. Yeah? That's lower. By the higher self, what is the higher self? Huh? The spirit soul. And then he says, by spiritual strength. He never say by material thing. He says here by what? Spiritual strength. Conquer this insatiable enemy known as lust. I mean, you can only conquer this with spiritual. Correct? Of course, then the next question is, you finish this chapter, Krishna stopped here already, finished. Now he just let you hanging now, you conquer yourself. Now you are thinking how to do this. Huh? Right? How to do this? He stopped the chapter here. Alright, goodbye, Hare Krishna. You go figure it out. Huh? Say you. Huh? Yes. Now the next step is how to get this knowledge. Strength. Two things you need, right? You need strength. To get the spiritual strength, you see, spiritual strength. How to get spiritual strength? Huh? What do you recommend? How to get spiritual strength? Huh? Surrender to spiritual master. Yes, you have to have spiritual master. I gave a class, I think. How to conquer mind, you need the guru. How to conquer intelligence, you need guru. How to conquer false ego, you need guru. And Krishna, correct? I gave a class on that, right? So all three things can only be conquered if you have spiritual master and Krishna. Oh, of course, it will be a long subject if I want to go through all the verses. I suggest you go and see the other videos, you probably will find out. So now, our point is this, that if we go to the spiritual master and surrender to him, then yes, by serving the spiritual master, we will come to the mode of goodness. You follow? And you can only do that if you have, the verse is here, and this verse Here, Lord Rishabhadeva told his son, my dear boys, of all living entities who have accepted material body in this world, one who has been awarded the human form should not work day and night simply for sense gratification, which is available even for dogs and for hawks that eat stool. One should engage in penance and austerity to attain the divine position of devotional service. By such activity, one's heart is purified, and when one attains this position, he attains eternal blissful life which is transcendental to material happiness and which continues forever. So you see the point here is made here. One should engage in penance and austerity. This is what today what they did. Malayadwaja and his wife, they engage in penance and austerity. Because that kind of austerity we cannot do. 36,000 years they were, right? Is it not? But what kind of austerity we can do? What is the austerity we can do? To come to divine position of devotional service. Huh?
Chanting following four regulative principles.
I don't think so it will work. Chanting and following the four regulative principles. You'll be surprised, huh? I am saying this. Huh? Huh? 588 purport. You got the point. If you don't wake up in the morning and if you don't perform your Mangala Arati, you can chant, follow the four principles, but you cannot make any advancement. You understand? This point must be understood. If you, I think you told me, right? You asked me this question about this lust, right? Remember? Yeah? What was the answer I gave you? You tried it? It worked? Oh, see, living proof here. I mean, look, it worked. It worked, right? So, if you can chant and follow the four principles, but if you are not going to wake up in the morning and do the morning program, you can very much say goodbye. It will not work. This is the very important thing. This is explained. When you wake up, you are going to the mode of goodness, correct? Morning is mode of passion. What time the passion starts? Huh? After sunset. Huh? What time it starts? As soon as the sun rises is the mode of passion. Are you following? And if you do, of course, chanting is very powerful. I don't deny it. You can chant and follow. But if you don't wake up in the morning, you cannot make spiritual advancement. Period. Prabhupada said, if you don't wake up in the morning and do this morning program, there is a good chance, even if you advance, you will fall down. You see this point? In other words, unless we come to the mode of goodness and practice our austerities and discipline, then yes, we will transcend. We will transcend to the mode of transcendental goodness. And when we come to that position, then all the good qualities are like this. When the living entity becomes strongly situated in the mood of goodness, then religious principles characterized by devotional service to me become prominent. One can strengthen the mode of goodness by cultivating of those things that are already situated in goodness, and thus religious principles arise. In other words, when you come to this position, then you what? Piety, spiritual strength, everything will come. That's now you read, right? By spiritual strength, correct? Yes? One can strengthen the mode of goodness by cultivating of those things that are already situated in goodness, and thus religious principles arise. It's all goes. You cannot try to do your way, that's not going to work. You follow? So if you want to give up lust, then you have to wake up in the morning 1.5 hours before sunrise. Period. You cannot say, Prabhu, can we compromise? Prabhu, I worked all night. Tamal Krishna went to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, you made me work so many projects here, it's difficult, I can't chant my rounds. What do you think Prabhupada told him? I cannot chant my rounds, so much work, What do you think Prabhupada said?
Sleepless.
Huh?
Sleepless.
Prabhupada said, sleep less and eat less. He thought Prabhupada said, okay, for you chant 5 rounds. No. You understand? You cannot compromise with Maya. You cannot compromise with. Just now did Krishna say what? You compromise? He said you slay this enemy. He said what? Slaying is compromising? No compromisation. So we have to fight Maya with what? Spiritual strength. And spiritual strength means waking up in the morning and performing the 5 things that we are asked to do. What is that? Worship Krishna, chanting rounds, associating with devotees, reading the books, Bhagavatam, and staying in a holy place, preferably a temple. These 5 things we must do. If you don't do these things, then yes, you will go on. We don't say no. You will be like a roller coaster, up, down, up, down, up, down. We may go down also. You understand? It will be very difficult because we are fighting with Maya. You follow? So therefore, this thing we must understand. So next verse Krishna says again, you see, religious principles strengthened by the mode of goodness destroy the influence of passion and ignorance. When passion and ignorance are overcome, their original cause, irreligion, is quickly vanquished. See that? Our whole point. Our point is what? Passion and ignorance is the biggest enemy, correct? Yes? Only by coming to the mode of pure goodness you can destroy this irreligion. Only by coming to the. And if you don't wake up in the morning and take up this program, then I don't know, we wish you luck. Maybe you can write your Shastra, no? No, Prabhu, I don't wake up, I can 7 o'clock I'm coming, I'm so strong, I feel myself, so I can deliver the world. One person told me that. Your temple, you all have got good morning program. My temple, we are doing very good 7 o'clock program. And now I don't know where he is. You understand? I don't know where he is now. I don't know what happened to the 7 o'clock. You understand? Spiritual life, you cannot invent your own ideas. It doesn't work. Spiritual life means what? Following who? 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 Following spiritual master means what? What? Whatever he says, you do. You don't question and you don't opinionate. Forget it. He says stand, you stand. He says sit, you sit. That is spiritual master. No, I spiritual. I heard now. No, Prabhupada will understand. Huh? But Prabhupada will understand. No, he is so kind-hearted, as though you have seen him. Huh? Yeah? He is so loving. Even you do some mistake, you eat onion, garlic, you wake up late, all no problem. Prabhupada is very merciful, you know. He will understand. You understand this? You understand? Stop like this. There is no room for compromising. Prabhupada said, if you don't come for Mangala Arti, there is no prasadam for you. How many didn't come today? All came, huh? You understand? That strict he was. If you don't come for Mangala Arti, don't go and eat. Forget it. That was the standard. Why? Now you can see why. Why this strong discipline? If you don't put this in, forget it. It cannot work. Spiritually, then what will happen? If you start living in association of devotees and you don't do it, then you are inhibited with lust and what? Anger, right? And it will spill over, because lust means what? There must be another person, right? Anger means what? There must be another party, right? That means what? Quarreling, fighting, bickering, all will start. That's why just now we read, the moment lust is not satisfied, anger comes, correct? Anger comes, then what? Greed. Then envy. One thing after all the bad qualities will develop. And what is the outcome? Kali Yuga. Fighting, quarreling, bickering, all will surface. So we should know why this is so important. You understand? Is a society. Why is the society messed up? Because of this. Everybody is waking up late. Yes or no? They go to bed at what time? What time they go to bed? 4 o'clock. We are waking up, they are sleeping. That's why there's a verse. What is day for them is night for us. And what is day for us? Night for them. You understand? So we should know why this is happening. We should understand this the knowledge must be there. What happens if I don't wake up? Finish. Spiritually I am dead. You understand? There's not that, Saturday, I have to go to the temple. Saturday I have to wake up early and rush to the temple. I wish there was no more Saturdays. Then other days all what? What? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I may not know. But the character will what? Will speak for itself. You understand? If you are inhibited with lust, if you are inhibited with anger, you have a fighting spirit, you have all these qualities coming, then we know something is what? Not right. You follow? So we need to understand. You cannot compromise with Maya. No way. So like here, today's case, she was fixed, as Prabhupada says, bothering combing her hair, he just surrendered to the husband. He no talking also. You see how austere they are. Yes? Yes, and of course that kind of thing you cannot do. It is not recommended also, because I have to send you and say you please leave on crumbs and don't comb your hair. Prabhu, don't put nail polish, already big issue here. No nail what kind of temple is this? Huh? Must polish the leg, must polish the hand, must polish the lip, all polish. Yes? Yes or not? See how much? Huh? I don't know why must color the leg. Why? Who you are attracting? Oh, the leg is the only place everybody sees it. Huh? They are so pure. Oh, Lord Ram, Lakshman and Ram. He asked Lakshman, does this belong to Sita? I don't know. So what do you mean you don't know? I never saw anything above her feet. That's all I saw. Oh, really? So that's why they color the feet. Nonsense. Coloring the feet and coloring everything is just pure nonsense. You understand? So you see here how she careless. Understand? Because of a service attitude, that was crucial. She was more interested in austerity for spiritual advancement rather than her material. The same thing also, Devahuti also did that. There's two parts, Of course, Devahuti then say, I asked, what do you want? He pleased her so much. No, I want to color my hair a bit and I want to have some children. Oh, okay. That was another part of the story, but you can see how this is so essential because of trying to control the subtle mind. It's very, very difficult to control the mind. As Krishna himself said, among the most difficult thing to control, I am the mind. Arjuna said also, controlling the mind is worse than controlling the wind. You understand? So you see how everything is so subtle. So we have to become very strong. You wake up, you chant your rounds, you follow the program, then you should have no difficulty, as Krishna says, because in the spiritual plane you can easily conquer lust, anger, all these things. It's possible. It's not that it's impossible. But you must do it every day, not just do one day. Correct? You understand? It says here. One who engages in unalloyed devotional service to the Lord transcends the mode of material nature and immediately elevated to the spiritual platform. Unfailingly, actually, no? Correct? This verse is not fully. Yeah, Krishna says here, one who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the mode of material nature and thus come to the level of Brahman. Unfailing means every day. You understand? Not that I do when I can, I do I like, and yesterday I came late, Prabhu. There's no question. Late night, this, that, on the dot. You understand? Then you see, you will get strength. And once you get that strength, then yes, you follow. Because there is another verse also that says that you have faith in the spiritual master, you can also overcome this Maya. So spiritual master is very important. Alright, I think I have explained at length, because this subject is very lengthy. Last, the whole Bhagavatam is dealing with it. Anybody got any questions up to now? For 4 years. Nirjana Bhajan. No people. Locked in the door. For 4 years he was like that. But the main thing is to actually come to the pure goodness. Then you will see things in a different way. You understand? You will not see, even your senses act with sense object, you will not have the attraction. You understand?
But then how do you justify engaging the senses in Krishna? Because sometimes you say you get attracted, or how you can resist.
Like now, okay, you see the women, for the woman see the man, right? So this way the senses act with sense. But if you see them, they are so beautiful. Who created them? Oh, Krishna made them. How beautiful he must be? Yes? So, your mind, the moment you bring Krishna inside, then there is no more lust. You understand? So, to do that, you need spiritual strength. You understand? To bring Krishna into everything, that requires training. You follow? Because the mind can very quickly, just simple example, when we take the bead bag every day, we want to chant, right? No, today I want to concentrate on my chanting, correct? The moment you take and you start, where your mind goes? Where? Go home.
Mars.
Huh?
Mars.
Mars. You see how the mind is so powerful. You understand? So it takes some time of training. That's why he says to come to the fixed platform takes time. When in your mind you're just nothing but Krishna. Wow. I think the two women are talking, but maybe I think they're talking about Krishna. They're so advanced. You see? Oh, they think they're talking about me, Huh? That's another thing. You see how your consciousness. Understand? There's a verse actually, I'll show you. What is it, 11:26 what? I hope you remember this verse. Actually, Shankaracharya also said, he defined in different ways, but the word is different. One can never decide whose property this body actually is. Does it belong to one's parents who have given birth to it, to one's wife who gives pleasure to it, or to one's employer who orders the body around? Is it the property of the funeral fire or the dogs and vultures who may ultimately devour it? Is it the property of indwelling soul who partakes in his happiness and distress? Or does the body belong to intimate friends who encourage and help it? Although man never definitely ascertains the propriety of the body, he becomes most attached to it. The material body is polluted material form, heading towards a lowly destination. Yet, this is the important part. When a man stares at the face of a woman, he thinks, wow, what a good looking lady. What a charming nose she got. And see her beautiful smile. I am not saying this. I am just quoting the Shastra. You understand? Are you following? Because then he goes on to say the next verse. What is the difference is there between ordinary worms and persons who try to enjoy this material body composed of skin, flesh, blood, muscle, fat, marrow, bone, stool, urine and pus? The worms also enjoying the body. So you also want to enjoy. What's the difference between you and the worm? So see how? So the whole thing comes down to this one point, to get ourselves spiritually what? Strengthened. That's the bottom line. Then realization will come. Understand? Then you can overcome Maya. Krishna says, Deviyesa gunamaya mama maya turatyaya mam eva prapadyante mayam etan taranti. As you surrender to me, then you can overcome my Maya. So surrendering to Krishna means to the spiritual master. There's no other way. Right? Anything else? The ladies, your subject today? You want to dress nicely? You want to comb your hair again? Of course you will do all this anyway.
Some question in the back. Somebody else.
What's the question? This whole chapter 11:26 is about lust. You got time, you read up this whole chapter. Huh?
Question is, even after following Krishna conscious for many years, why devotees can't come out of the passion? Can't come out more of passion?
He made a survey and he found out all devotees. Ask him this question.
Which means even after long years of brahmachari, they choose to be grahastha. Is it a lack of Krishna's mercy?
There's no wrong for a man to become a grahastha. There's no such thing as, oh, you become grahastha means you're finished. No. A grahastha is an ashram where the person enters and he has relationship with the wife only for procreation. Only for what? Procreation. Then yes. Huh? Ajanya. She has asked her, she analyzed all the people in the world. Ask her, she knows. Everybody she checked out. She analyzed only one person. Who? I think she's a nonsense, I mean, as though she has seen everybody and she decided, oh, he got married, that means he's finished. Yeah? That is a nonsense. Therefore, it is not illegal or illicit to enter into the Grahastha ashram and perform your ashram duties properly. Of course, it is a dangerous ashram, I admit it. It's not so rosy there. I'm sure the householders will all testify. Yes? Vishwambar? No?
Yesterday we read 75%.
Yeah. So it is like walking on a fine line. Any little slip can fall down. See, Grahastha ashram is tough. You understand?
So that time I was reading Prabhupada said that different one has a different extent of renunciation. Like for example, for Sudra is only householder. For for Vaishyas and Kshatriyas and Brahmachari,
Only white.
Vaishya is like that. So
The Brahmanas, they take sannyas.
so now in our Kali and Krishna.
No, you are Brahmin, no?
No. I'm just saying.
Eh?
This one, how do we classify?
I mean, it varies from person to person. Only thing is to become Krishna conscious. You understand? Main thing is you become Krishna conscious. You follow? What is the use you renounce and then you marry another mixed queen again? What's the point?
Because
Eh?
this one ashram in India is Satyuga. So Satyuga everybody is Krishna. So how you?
That's why in Kali Yuga, just chanting, following this program, stay with the temple, stay duty, you understand? Renunciation is tough and not easy. That's Krishna. In fact, I give you my example. I was thinking, no. I will stay until 90 years old, me and my wife will carry on serving Krishna. I mean, yeah, good dream, Anything can happen. Understand? I was thinking, it's enough, I'll just go on. Yeah? How Krishna can. So what is going to happen? I don't know. You understand? But our idea is to engage in Krishna's service. Whether you are, that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, what is that verse? I am not a what? I am not a householder, I am not sannyasi, I am not this. What am I? Gopi in Padakamalayo, Dasa, Dasa, Dasa. That's all. Just chant and carry on. In fact, one devotee wanted to leave everything and go with chant. No, 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 no. You go back home. You stay at the house. You chant, you know. You know the story? This. Huh? Yeah. But you stay at home and you preach Krishna consciousness. He told him, you go back. Now Kali Yuga, it's very difficult time. Even to chant your rounds also difficult already, correct? From 64, Prabhupada brought it to 32 and nobody could do. So alright, 16 is the best. 16 also now, what? Correct? Yes? So that's all we do. We chant by the mercy of spiritual master, by following this program, by his mercy we will get some good, what we say, result. Anybody else? Anything else? No more? Okay. Thank you very much. Was it? All glories to all of you. All glories to Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.